Hello?
Hello, Philip.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
And pleasure to meet you as well. The first time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So,
Yeah.
first of all, apologies. My throat is a little gone. I've got a bit of a cold, but I'm still
Okay.
full of energy and looking forward to this.
Yeah, good. Shall I record it as well on mine in case something goes
I,
off?
yep. Let me make you co-host.
Yeah. You got the hang of it like I have now.
Yeah, but you yep.
Right. Right, so I didn't hear it's recording.
In any case, I've got it going, so if need be, I'll just send you a download link.
Yeah, that's fine. So, I'm just interested, how long have you been doing this?
Oh, well, how do you measure age? Not in years,
Uh,
lifetimes.
how many lifetimes? Millions of years? Billions, maybe?
As far as I know, going back, it seems every single time,
Yeah.
with very few exceptions.
Mm.
The most peaceful one was when I was a custodian of an old little mosque in Indonesia, taking care of the prayers' shoes, using the broom, sweeping the grounds, taking care of the curtains, washing everything. And the
Mm.
worst one was when I was in Agori Baba, the Indian black magicians, the cannibals who drink out and whatnot. So I think I've been around the block, but I think that's true with many interesting people that you and I come into contact with,
Mm.
all towards greater experience and learning from it, being on
Mm.
both sides of it. So
True.
so far so
If you've been a really good, powerful light worker, then you've been a dark one as well.
I think that
Yeah.
is absolutely right. And so therefore
Mm.
we can't be too judgmental about anyone, really. Not
Mm.
just humans, but also other beings, deities included. They have their own story and their own motivation once you really sit down and honestly, respectfully start a dialogue. You see, well, oh, that kind of makes sense.
Mm.
If I were you, I'd probably be doing the same thing. So we just have to have some compassion and move along with that.
Mm. My childhood, I was quite dark, actually. But it's a learning curve.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So, always a learning curve.
We do the best we can, isn't it?
Mm. Mm. Yeah. But when I first met, connected, you were on Rob's podcast, which I've been on. And I was working a night shift and I listened to it all while I was doing the night shift. And I thought, there's a few ways you do it which are original. No one else does them like that. You make it like you tell the person what's happening, and not
Yes.
many actually do that. They don't do it fully. They just say like I'm sending you healing, but then you go deeper and you tell everyone what's actually happening. And I think that's quite good. And I'll be honest, I've copied a couple of your points. There you
I
go.
think, hey, more power to you, my friend.
Yeah.
And you see, I like that you are so observant of this.
Mm.
At the end of the day, it's the person and their infinite genius that does the healing.
Yeah.
So whether the healing is kick-started through a chemical, a pharmaceutical chemical, a pill or an injection, whether it's done through radiation, whether it's done through touch, or whether it's done through energy, like what we're doing. At the end of the day, it's the person that's doing this. So we would be wise to include them in the healing process.
Mm.
The more we give them, the better they heal. And also, it has a big effect on calming the person. A lot
Yeah.
of times, the greatest torture is the conscious mind not being in the loop. The soul knows, the 3D matrix knows, everybody knows, but the poor mind, and that's the worst suffering. So telling people, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Oh, by the way, it's a piece of cake. Oh, by the way, this is what I'm doing, la di da di da, and you can feel a little tingling here, and that's it, you're good. So
mm,
I think, yeah, that's a more compassionate and gentle approach. Seems to
mm.
be working.
Yeah, sometimes if you're getting rid of something too dark, it's probably wise not to tell
Oh well,
them.
maybe. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
You know,
I've done healing since I was 4 year old. I don't know if you knew that. I started healing. I started doing the shamanic work at 10. So what people don't realize, sometimes you're just born with it because who you are, basically. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It
exactly.
doesn't come from nowhere.
Yeah,
Um, it's just the continuation, the same energy, the same wisdom. The body expires, but those rites of passage are eternal.
mm,
These are acquired through great dedication and sacrifice and hardship. So that's a good indication of this whole cycle of reincarnation,
mm,
that in fact we do ascend as souls. That's one of the big purposes of being down here in this crazy dumpster fire craziness called Earth. So that's really good. I
mm,
completely understand that. And the most powerful shamans really are born.
mm.
Those who really begin to embark on the journey, it takes a few lifetimes to really reach any significant level of competence.
Yeah, to actually come here, I don't know if people know, we've had to descend here, where people are trying to ascend. We've descended, which is a
That
bit
is,
crazy, but we were asked to do the job, and we both, we agreed to do it.
I think you're quite right.
Yeah.
And perhaps this is your experience also. Some of the people that come into contact with us are of
Mm,
this nature. Very, very powerful, very ancient specialists. Somehow, something is put a monkey wrench in their gearbox. And it is our pleasure and honor to pull the monkey wrench out and get them going again.
yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes they actually stuck here, and
yeah,
the ascended master descended, and they've forgotten, and we just got to wake them up a bit. That's
a
all.
little tiny little boop, and off they go again. So that's good. And that's something unique about one-to-one work.
Yeah.
You, there's so many outstanding, beautiful, amazing, rich resources out there, and you can buy the entire spiritual history and teachings of the world in Amazon over one afternoon. So there's no shortage of knowledge. There never was.
Mm,
So really, what's lacking is practicality. So perhaps in one-to-one sessions, one will do perhaps a few thousand people in a lifetime. But depending on how powerful and successful these people are, that's a big move and momentum in the right direction for the human species.
yeah, definitely. Mm, yeah, I agree with that.
One-to-one is the way.
Mm. Well, I've had people, I've had my team say he over there wants his third eye opening, and I
Yes.
go over. I said, "You want your third eye opening?" She said, "I've just asked that." I said, "Well, your team asked my team, so I'm going to open it for you."
Excuse me for one moment. Thank you so much. Yes, I got a consignment of cop soup, which is what the doctor ordered.
Yeah.
So,
I actually got this morning some nicotine patches. Now people say you don't smoke, do you? I said no, but the nicotine in the patches can get rid of the nanoparticles, I believe, from the chemtrails. So
yes,
you got to be defensive sometimes on the body.
I believe so. I believe
Yeah.
so. So many of these beautiful plant medicines,
Mm,
in excess, they're neurotoxins
mm,
or some other sort of powerful toxin, but in small doses. I don't know if you've ever seen the yogis of India. They drink cobra poison,
mm,
and some of it is absorbed through tiny little injuries, enters the bloodstream, and they start tripping balls, and it strengthens them to a
mm,
great degree. When they come out of it and they're recovered, they seem to be greater in their immensity of energy, but also much calmer.
mm,
I wouldn't be surprised if, so many of these things that are now abused, really, like
mm.
tobacco, this beautiful plant is
Yeah,
abused.
demonized, isn't it? It's been demonized. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. sadly. People don't know it's the chemicals that create the cancers and the addiction. I can say
Yes.
it on here because that's a fact.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Mm.
So, Philip, we very briefly touched on the topic of Reiki,
Mm.
and I read a post of yours. It was fascinating
Mm.
that in your meditation you managed to interact with certain beings that are linked with Reiki, and their energy was joyful.
Mm.
So I just want to now give the floor to you and ask
Mm.
what's going on. Maybe we could reconnect
Well,
with them and examine them and talk to them, see what on earth is going on.
yeah.
There's so much
Yeah.
about Reiki nowadays.
And I got credited at healing 20 odd years ago. And I was always a condemner of Reiki. I thought it was all to do with demonics and it was all the symbols were very, very bad. So I would tell people never do Reiki. And then all of a sudden, I decided, hold on, I don't actually know. Now, 12 years ago, I was at a school event where I was the healer, and this pastor who was a Reiki master started being ill.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I started connecting with his Reiki contract, which is like it's like an ascended master demigod. That's all I can describe it. And I basically had a little bit of a fight, and he ended up ripping the contract. So I thought, yeah, it must be dark. Well, Reiki is so many people doing Reiki. I believe it more now. It's to do with who's done it because a lot of them are infiltrated. It's not just they're all good. It depends who's actually teaching you, who's giving you the symbols. Now, I've took a few courses. I thought I'm going to go for it. So I sat down there in meditation while I was getting the tuning on your back, and I actually met a different being. Actually, he was like a, he's probably a ascended master. I didn't ask, and he was in like a fire. It was like a surrounded other beings there, and he was giving me sake, Japanese alcohol, while I was getting tuned up. Which you're not supposed to have alcohol, but it was a spiritual drink, so it's probably okay. I think that's what he said it was anyway. And I had sort of some food, and he was saying that when you use the symbols, you're giving some of your energy to the Reiki spirits, basically, and they're transmuting it to an higher vibration, which I get that. So it's not they're not just stealing the energy because I always that feeling that you've got to be careful in this day and age. You can't trust anybody, but you give the energy and then they send you some healing codes in different energy format.
Right, right.
So that's
Okay,
what
so in this particular case, there's an equal exchange, and
mm,
I second that. I also confirm this, especially for beginners, young
mm,
practitioners,
yeah,
when they still are really just beginning. That boost of energy is incredibly useful.
mm,
I suppose then, as the person becomes stronger and they become more masterful of their own energy, this becomes less and less necessary.
mm,
So, this I completely get. So, this is a positive scenario.
yeah,
Let's have a look at a negative scenario. So, we've got a wannabe black magician who thinks they're all that, and they enjoy stealing energy. So, what they have done is create a duplicate of the traditional, let's say, Usui Reiki or Karuna Reiki symbols and inserted negative intentions into that. This is also really common in, let's say, California, west coast of the United States. All these
mm,
crazy demonic cults all out there. So, in this case, the person who is practicing Reiki, or even worse, being attuned to Reiki through an infected master, will be getting harvested.
yeah, definitely.
So, let's now talk with each other about how to identify this and how to remove this parasitic influence. Because I know of certain people who have had really negative experiences through this to an
Mm,
extent where they say Reiki is bad all and all.
yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's all bad because I've experienced a good. I've also experienced a practitioner who I had to basically go to this. It could have been a demonic, actually. It could have been quite easily, and I had to fight with it with my team, and he ended up ripping the contract. So it's a contract you're signing up. So I would say you're being in universal law. It's not. It shouldn't be allowed that you're being twisted in a fraudulent way. So you could do a ritual prayer, which I've actually designed one where, yeah, where you're a sovereign being and this is all against universal law. So you could break
Beautiful,
the contract with that, can't you? Yeah.
beautiful.
But I have
I love that.
I have actually got one that me and Sophie created. So
So
and all you do, you add your name to it. The only thing is it's AI talking.
it's
I didn't want to
okay.
talk. Yeah.
I think that would be incredibly valuable. Have you published this? Is it a course? Is it available?
It's on the YouTube. It's just a YouTube video. That's all it is.
So when you publish, would you be so kind just to put the link down for our esteemed audience?
Yeah.
Potentially people will see this is going to be amazing. I
Yeah.
really love this, Philip. And I wholeheartedly agree. A lot of these abuses are cancelled out with contract revocations, ripping up the contract.
Mm.
I had a similar time where I was kind of thinking, well, are these symbols good or bad? I knew for a matter of certainty that initially they were helping me to such a degree that I would get a sense of euphoria. My master called this Reiki drunk. And when drunkenness comes in, I start thinking, well, is this excessive? Because there is no such thing as a free dinner anywhere, including in the spirit realm. Is this positive or not? So, what I did after a while, I combined other energetic techniques to my practice and did away with the symbols altogether.
Mm.
Still able to affect, for example, the chokure, the physical healing, or the emotional healing, distance healing, of course, the master symbols, but without any of these sigils. So what and essentially, Mikao Usui rebranded earlier Taoist Qigong into
Mm.
Reiki. So this has been around for ages and ages, and the gentleman originally didn't use any of these symbols himself. It seems they came into the picture later on as they moved to Europe.
Mm.
And so it's not necessary whatsoever. I think if one receives the training, the initial gift or blessing, let's call it, from a decent human being, then you're on a good path.
Yeah, definitely. I've actually changed it. I do my own symbols. I've created my own. Yeah.
That's brilliant. And so,
Mm.
therefore, the probability of these being copied and corrupted goes really down.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm.
So I've
I,
burnt the whole thing up. You've encoded it.
yeah. Well, initially, because the person who'll go sound dealing on a Thursday, he's an Arcturian starseed. I'm an Andromeda starseed, and we've let each other work on the other energies. We've swapped. So when I was doing Arcturian, I was actually doing Arctur, and I ended up symbols coming out, and I started speaking. I didn't even. I know light language. I didn't know that one though. So the symbols just came out with the connection with the Arcturians, which was quite strange. So
Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful. So there are many of our star brothers and sisters use healing chambers.
Mm.
And so, of course, these are energetic aspects, the way the conscious mind translates them, so we get it. It's kind of unique. With the
Mm.
Arcturians, I saw the healing chamber again, quote unquote, as a Zen garden, where I'm sitting in a lotus pose and all these masters are sitting in the same pose around me and gently chanting, sending energy to the center. Very serene.
Mm.
With other species, the form that my conscious mind picked up on was very much technological.
Mm.
It seems the more advanced a species becomes, they do away with the bells and whistles and go back to elegant, simple forms.
Well, look, what I actually start doing, I've started doing this for the last 5 years. I connect. I've got a crystal source being, yeah, and she basically thinks that most humans are not very clever. She tells me, but
Well,
I can't deny her. But when I start healing, I actually send crystal source energy into the healing bed. Yeah, so I send source energy, so the bed becomes like the old Atlantean crystal bed. Yeah.
yeah,
Then I send like spirals, two spirals of Christ conscious from the 22nd chakra. So they're forming like a double loop and they're going up and down the bed.
yeah.
And then I use central sun, or you could say source energy, and I put that into the auric field. And that's how I do my healing that's like programmed. So everything's working. Now I'm doing my healing.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's how I do it. I just wanted to say that. I don't know why I wanted to say it.
Well,
It just
that's beautiful. The
it's like
visualization is
yeah,
amazing.
it's like creating the healing bed in the actual bed on the bed you're using, which is quite good.
And so
Yeah.
now, let's add to that the utility of explaining to the person that's receiving the healing every step of the way, so their manifestation ability is coming in, aligning with yours,
Mm.
and so that would be a positive boost to the whole process.
Yeah.
So again, the positive thing about explaining to the client or the recipient exactly what you're doing. And often in this way, you see them show a gentle smile as they're feeling it, or start, swaying around as the energy is going through their vessel. So they're observable physical indications that they're on board and they are liking the energy work.
Mm. Exactly. Yeah.
Wow,
I actually do swirl around when I'm doing it sometimes.
me too.
It's getting yeah. It's just normal. It's normal.
Especially when channeling. I go into a
Mm.
rocky motion. Um, it seems to, I've seen people do movements with their hands, certain movements or associated with certain initial sounds. I just kind of sway. So
I
maybe
do sway. I do sway. Yeah.
it's like a rocking motion when we're babies and it puts us into a
Mm.
state of relaxation. Honestly, I wasn't expecting us to get through this Reiki business so quickly.
Mm.
That's kind of amazing.
I think the Reiki is good for the beginners, but once you get past the level where you done it, say 5 years, and you know exactly, then you start experimenting, don't you? Yeah,
100%. I
yeah.
completely agree.
I
So,
actually, I actually partly merged with the aspects I once were. So I've got about six around me, and to the point where I don't know if you remember this. I remember signing up to and it was on I call it the Magic Lands, where the Emerald Order came in, and we had to put in energy into a ball to agree to come here. And all the Ascended Masters were there, and it was like ego trip. They were all had ego.
yeah.
Because Joshua went in, everyone's got to go in, and I thought it was quite fun. It's quite fun. But what I tend to do now is I link up with the Emerald Order, and I give people downloads of Ascension. So while I'm healing, I also give them downloads. If they're open to it, it'll open. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. It's frustrating being a evolved being assigned to guide a human because you come, you wash them, you anoint them with your light, you speak into their ear and their heart and their mind words of grace and forgiveness and bliss, and 10 minutes later they're back to their same old shenanigans. It reaches a point when you go, God damn it, I'm going in myself. And so that's what many of us are doing here. Actually coming in one at a time, giving them a good solid shake, 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 shake. Wake up, wake up. And despite that, some refuse, but that's a very
Mm.
small percentage. Mostly, they just need a tiny little boop and they're back on course, back on their glorious journey.
Mm.
It's
A lot of them. Healing was great last week, but after 4 or 5 days, I started getting the pain back. You've got to change your path. Yeah. I like your start where you create the space with. I've actually got an Himalayan bowl as well, and I
Yes.
do. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. These Tibetans, these
Yeah.
people are onto something.
Mm.
Up in the bloody mountains with nothing to do all day, every day, they sit down and play around with the cheapest metal, brass, and they have created these sublime instruments. Like, well, dedication yields results. All these different little trinkets,
Mm.
the dorje and furba and the singing bell, which I'm greatly fond of. And then these
Mm.
other little things that and a dear friend asked me to invest in. These little guys.
I've seen. I know a friend who's got one of them as well. Yeah. I've got the church bell. I've got a
Oh
church bell.
yes. Well, it goes, and that's actually that's the Tibetan bell. It's the original
Yeah.
one. But something in
I've
between.
also got this shamanic wand, angelic wand.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that Lemurian or would that be Atlantean? Because it's got both a crystal and it is wood.
I'm not sure actually. It's got the infinite. It's got tigers. It's got mother pearl, and it's got wings. I know the minerals are made from Africa, but I never
Okay.
thought about Atlantean.
It looks
I'm going to check that.
yeah, yeah.
I
The
have got I've got a female Lemurian high priestess that I merge, and the healing said that I've actually shapeshifted into her twice.
oh wow.
Well, some people have seen that. So,
It's
I've also got this which I bought decades, about 30 years ago. See
is
the
that
light and the dark.
smoky quartz?
Smoky on one side, light on the other.
Wow. These
Yeah.
things, they enter your life in the most amazing ways, and they're not always gentle. They kick the door down. Buy me,
Mm.
buy me, buy me. And you can't really resist. So before you know, you've
I,
got a whole big storehouse.
I was in Liverpool docks, and I said to my wife at the time, I said, "Something's calling me. I've got to go up second store." And I just went straight to the centre, and it was the dearest thing they had. Why is
Mhm.
the ones that call you the dearest? But I had to buy it. I think it was 150 in '93.
So
That's
90,
thousand.
well,
No,
yeah,
so you're
that's,
looking at over 1,000 now easily. So I wouldn't sell it for the world.
oh no,
So
these are noble companions.
and
Yeah.
this one, this is like your emerald heart chakra. That's an emerald.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. What is that?
Emerald.
Oh boy, look at the size of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I
love that.
I had it at the back of me. Can you see the staff that I made?
Hmm.
I'd had that fixed on it, and the dog knocked it, and it came off. So that
Oh,
was actually fitted on the staff. So
oh
yeah.
man, this is turning into too much fun. We're like kids, showing each
I'll
other
I'll
our
I'll
trains and
I'll
cars
show
and
I'll show you my stuff. There's the stuff. Dead light. I found it. I had Merlin's help on it, and that's where I'd actually put me thing there.
wow, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
and it's dead light. It's dead lightweight, and I found that myself. Yeah. Well,
Sir, you leave me no choice.
there you go.
Irish blackthorn.
Nice, very nice.
And of course, you have to have feathers. Hey man, let's stop. This is getting out of hand.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I did get. My son bought me that, and I thought nothing of it. But
What?
when I do, it's
Wow.
yeah. When I put it onto my third eye and I do remote viewing, everything got clearer. I can't believe it. It's as though like the old set 80s TV, and then it just cleared a bit.
Wow.
So if I do remote viewing, I stick that on my third eye, so it's better. And
These crystals
sometimes,
are amazing.
yeah, sometimes I use that to contact the alien, the other beings. The Andromedas, I went to their planet, well, their lands. I don't say planet, their lands, and it was like a high priestess. She was white, but glowed white. She glowed white, and she had a staff. And they were dead. They said no one's been to ours before, but they used to speak into your head, which was a bit weird. It's strange. But I wanted to see where I was channeling all this energy. I wanted to see where it was from. So yeah. Andromeda is very spark. I don't know if you know. It's very prickly, prickly energy. Very
Yes,
prickly.
yes, sparkly,
Yeah,
prickly.
yeah,
Like champagne.
yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So
So, what do you think is to come of humanity? Are we a lost cause?
I
Or,
think I think it's end of it's that film Marvel. It's the end of games with between the dark and the light. I can't say too much here, but I do know from November to March is a very trying time, and yeah, definitely. And I think it's all to do with things that we can't speak on here.
understood.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm on board 100%. And then
Mm,
probably by 2025, end of 25, beginning of 2026, it's going to start getting better and better.
mm.
So yeah, yeah. Well,
What we need is we need one of the ascended masters here to wake all the DNA strands, and it'd be like the Jesus here, and then things will change big time. Yeah, that's what I think anyway.
well, that would be extraordinary. If such a being emerges, I'm going to
Mm,
drop everything, get on the first plane, or need be swim and get there. Yeah, I'm going to be there. But
mm.
so you think there's going to be one of these figures, or is it going to be just the intensity of the darkness is so much that people actually wake the hell up?
I think every time they play the game, they wait more. They're actually doing like Labour at the moment are doing us a big favour. They're waking a lot more up just by what they're doing, and I don't think they realise. I don't think they're bright enough to realise that the more dark stuff is sent to us, the more people wake up.
That
It's
is true.
crazy.
But
It's
also,
crazy.
Philip, this is a sign of desperation or panic.
Yeah, definitely.
As a result of the work that many beautiful beings have been doing, the mechanism of harvesting energy from sentient life, not just humans, has been greatly diminished. And so these moments are pretty much the last great hurrah of many dark beings. And so the
Mm,
intensity is going up as they're flapping about like a fish out of water for the final moments before the end comes. And they have disconnected themselves, many of them, from source. So this is going to be the last death. That is a horrifying
mm,
concept.
yeah.
And that would really describe the intensity of the darkness. A lot of them know this is it. I mean,
Mm,
this time is the last time. They won't reincarnate anywhere. And that is true death. And we really
mm,
need it. Some of these dark beings are just standing in the doorway, preventing everyone else going through and evolving. It's needed.
mm,
And it's not like the offer of ascension isn't extended to them 1,000 times over. They don't want it. They're invested in the mess. They like it this way. And they say, you must also like it and endure our cruelty and be grateful.
mm.
Well, I don't think so.
The parasites basically, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Parasites.
That's
Mm.
an accurate description.
I was going to remove a few spiritually, and my team said no. They're doing us a favour here. Let them carry on doing us a favour.
I get that.
Okay. Yeah. So. Mm,
Have you ever experienced the situation where it is time for some of them to face the choice? And by
mm,
that, I mean either vow to heal, pay for the debt, learn from your mistakes and evolve, or then
mm,
be burnt down to constituent parts to such a degree that what remains can be of service to the highest good of all again.
mm. I think quite a few of them have gone too dark. They've gone past the point, and I do know some have got. I'd say reptilian parasites in them. That's all I'm going there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So you see all the elites and everything, all the actors and everything,
Hmm.
uh, called the Black Eyed Club. They're all gone. They're not recoverable. Definitely not. I was going to say Vril, but I won't.
Yes. Yes.
For anyone
The
who
the
wants to
damage
Google.
is too extensive. There is
Yeah.
no repairing it. And so if we
Yeah.
apply the condition of burning to such a degree that what remains can be of service to the highest good of all, they're
Mm,
going to burn pretty extensively. So what
mm,
remains could be again maybe of the elemental kingdom, elemental intelligence,
yeah.
maybe single cell organisms. The
Mm.
corruption is so extensive. You take them
I,
down 3 levels, again, they're still corrupt.
I've got I don't know. I've been told to do this. Me and a couple of them, spirit. We actually didn't do it spiritually. We went down to this place, and the teenager girls were getting attacked.
Mhm.
So we created a vortex field to bring in the dark witch that had been haunting the place and was attacking. And we sent in, and we started sending light in a vortex around, and it was pulling off all the dark. The next minute, I saw a little bit of white. So I had to tell the others, let's stop. This is something's wrong here. And I ended up connecting. And what she'd done is she'd got hanged as a witch 500 years ago. And her daughter, who was 12, was left to die on her own. And that's where the darkness, and once the darkness starts creeping in, you get all sort of demonics starting to manipulate, you get all this. And she wasn't dark, so I had to ask the angels to bring in a daughter after 500 years, and all the dark just completely went. So
Yes,
sometimes when you think they're fully dark, they're not. They just need them layers shifting. So
that
some of
is so.
these, some of these are rescuable, I think.
I
Yeah,
agree. I agree.
yeah.
I completely agree. If I wanted to give it a percentage, I would say 85% are rescuable.
Hmm,
And then we've got probably that 10, 15% who are really gone.
yeah,
As if you open a channel to the source of all things and bring down pure divine energy. And in the voice of the divine, you relay this message that we're giving you amnesty, forgiveness, rejoin. You are from us, we love you. I've seen this. And the other party laughs, mocks it, says we are greater. That is damage beyond repair. And
hmm.
so they have to go. I think that is true.
Sometimes I've had it where they've been shouting and angry spiritually, and all of a sudden, that's just a uniform. You've just got to get rid of that uniform, and all of a sudden they melt, and they well, but others, I don't think divine light would be very helpful for them. they,
And I
they
think
fry.
this is going for humanity. This momentum is going in a good direction.
Yeah.
Perhaps right now we're at the darkest moment, and it is always darkest before dawn.
Mm,
But from my understanding, we're going to be going through probably a 300-year transition period
mm,
where things normalize, where certain beings are allowed to die out without even knowing there is a change. But those who are going to be born are going to be of a different caliber.
yeah.
As more healing occurs to the energetic system of the earth, also, more can be brought in.
Mm,
So then we're going to go into the new golden age. Hopefully, there won't be any extinction events again. Seems that our species has been subjected to massive extinction events every 10 to 12,000 years. Um,
I think a lot of resets have happened over the last 300 years. A lot of resets.
okay. Okay.
You can see because you see buildings in your your town hall. Who built that? Our Stockport town hall is like something from Greece. The building facing,
Yeah.
and obviously people think mud flood. Even I've been the thing. What I heard. This is what I've heard. The last reset, it stuck a lot of souls here, a lot of ascended masters here because they were trying to do another awakening sort of thing. And I don't know if you've heard of the soul trap, the recycle with the light. And anyone who dies, remember to go home. Don't go to the light. Just go home. Just say to
Yes,
yourself, home. And I think that reset's coming on us. I think they're going to try and pull the plug. But that's why this time I came as a walk-in, so I know what the plan is. Before we never used to come as walk-ins, but the I was died at birth, walk-in, light language, first language. Before I had brain damage, obviously. Just rebellious, that's all. Rebellious to everything. And like you, I did I did all this schooling. I went to uni, did all that, and then realised this is all control. Yeah. So I'm here because of the Emerald Order. The Emerald Order had the convent to source to awaken the earth, to ascend people. And that's why I'm here. So,
that is profoundly beautiful.
mm.
On my side, I think I'm here to press the big red button. The button, when you press it, goes boom. There's a lot of this stuff that is inflicting humanity
Mm.
uses technology of different dimensions, of different levels of sophistication, from dumb implants in the lower astral to very advanced 11 and 12D stealth technology that abuses portals and time.
The last few years I've been seeing all that, and it's so hard to see it because it is invisible.
Yes, you
So,
gotta, the best way I can describe it, you gotta sniff them out. You
mm.
can't perceive them. The technology is very, very effective. And so especially through clients who are being inflicted, once they are interfered with, then they have the ethical and moral and spiritual right to demand compensation. And then these beings are affecting many. So I just press the red button. Of course, offering the amnesty and what's not, usually they don't go for it. They come up with different excuses too. The reptilians usually say, raw, death before dishonor, or something wonky like that. Or the more evolved ones, they kind of give you the googly eyes and say, we're sorry, we had no choice, we couldn't help ourselves, which is a poor excuse. So I think I'm here to press the red button on these big
Mm.
technologies. I would be very grateful if you point me in the direction of the soul trap mechanism. I'm getting a kind of indication
I,
maybe
I've
they're on.
I've been taking it was on the moon. I've been taking a lot of that down. Yeah, on the moon. I I had a shamanic someone I knew who's shamanic healer, and he's being ill in his stomach. So I created a rod with a ball bearing. It started going faster and faster and faster to create a shape. And as it was going multi faster, the being appeared. It couldn't handle the frequency,
Right,
and
right, right.
that was given to me. That was I thought, how am I supposed to find because this is a person who had it from birth. Because a lot of
Yes,
these they have it from birth, don't they? And they're
correct.
asleep and they wake till once they start waking up, they start creating illness in the body.
And
But
so these are difficult too, because
yeah.
normally if somebody, a healer, has the ability to perceive energy, they'd scan through and see nothing. And then these portals open, the portal is masked. So you're really left with no observable indication that something's going on. So usually you have to wait. And this occurs once you've cleaned the initial, let's say, structure in the body. I'll just call it a structure. They appear in all shapes and forms.
Mm,
Once you've passed over it, as if, okay, the job is done, it's almost like they know, oh, he's done now. Let's get it reinstalled. Regenerative tech. That's also
mm.
common. Where you see the damn thing wanting to respawn and force its way inside the energy of the person. That's when you get the open portal, you stick your foot in the door, and then you follow through. Where is this going? Well, often
Do you do what I do and actually go into the portal and
I
see?
go head
I do it.
first,
I do it.
like balls to the wall. Like, yeah, no, we're dealing with this. And Sometimes it is so interesting. I've had entire motherships connected to a client, and these beings were zombies pretty much, all under control of one central being, requiring another portal to be opened to go to the source. And then it turned out that the human was on a vacation lifetime, and he had contracted this very evolved being to keep him in a state of forgetting so that he can have a vacation here on Earth. That is so weird. I mean, it's like going to a war zone for a holiday. Like somehow this person enjoyed Earth. So the regular lifetimes that he was working in was even more intense than what we have here. That seems to also apply. Some universes or domains of reality are much more tough than Earth. That was a big shock to me.
One of mine experiences, because that sounds funny. You sound like you do trips that I do. I was told that this bloke was a drunk. He'd wished in the demon, but someone asked some spiritual people in London to help, and they said whatever's he's got inside will close a portal, but it's nasty, it's dark. And as soon as I heard that, I thought, I'm going in, like you do. So I went into the portal in his heart chakra, and I ended up in a cave.
Mhm.
And when I looked around the cave, it was a blue demon. Now, blue demons are not supposed to be that bad, but this was attached to thousands of humans. I mean, thousands. I looked and I thought, I've got to get out of here quick. I thought I'm not going to be able to handle him.
Yeah,
He'd be too powerful. I've got to think he's going attached to all that soul energy. So as
yeah,
I'm going out, I asked Michael, I need some white light, quick. Just send it where I am. So the white light went past me, and next minute, bits of him went past me, bits of blue. And what I was told, I'd killed one. Well, we'd killed one of the top 14 demons,
right.
one of the old ancient demons. But
Wow.
bits of them went by, and that was I should have brought my team in. I didn't expect to, because you don't know what you're going to expect when you go through one of them.
Correct. Correct.
But and then the same bloke, I ended up going down, gave him some healing, and this little like white wiggly worm came out of his head into me, and I was thinking, what was that? A spiritual one, but I saw it. So I had to do a cleansing. So,
Incredible.
but
Incredible.
yeah, you don't know. I've fought on Orion several times. I've been to the healing centre on a Tuesday, and they said you got 5 gooey spiders on you. Where have you been? I said Orion. So,
Yes.
and yeah, it's so entertaining what you do. But actually, yeah, I agree with you. You've got to go in to see who it is. You've got to find out because they'll just redo it, won't they? They just because they normally have a
Absolutely.
tracker. They have a tracker on the foot anyway, so you got to get rid of that tracker, and then you got to go in and see where they are. But
And Philip, the beauty of this is um, we we as people who are dedicated to healing, there's no two ways about it. Um, in order to heal one person, what ends up happening is that we heal many from that
yeah,
type of
yeah,
infliction.
mm,
And so that is why people taking responsibility of their own healing is so important. And they have a share in the good karma, in the dharma of removing this infliction from thousands, countless other people. It's
mm,
very important people take responsibility. And this is one of the things that many think that there's going to be a savior that's going to come, wash you clean, and lift you up. No, 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 no. That savior is you, my
mm.
friend. That savior is you.
We are the prime creators, aren't we?
You're the prime creator. Agreed.
Yeah, yeah.
And it takes action. It takes something. Just do something for goodness sake. Make the movement, and then the matrix of reality will respond. The prime
Mm,
creator will respond. It's so important. Passivity, it results in nothing.
yeah. I've got you're healing Sophie. Before you healing her, I was having enough because I couldn't open her. So I actually merged with her, which
Mm.
is not ideal. And as I'm merging with her, I came out of her double. She was cloned. And it was AI bots there. I ended up had to call my team in because it was just, I didn't expect when you go merging with a being, you're coming out in another land, that they
Mhm.
cloned her from birth. They basically to take her energy like a twin.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you're expecting on this journey.
Pretty much, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Um, so I just pretty much use um, the hermetic laws of making myself larger and smaller,
Mm,
faster and slower. This seems to be effective, and many beings don't expect this. Where we are pure consciousness in these zones that healing is occurring. And so, if you come across something that appears technological, you can very much so think of using your fists and crushing it, or crushing
mm,
it in the palms of your hand, or freezing things as if they don't move, and you can have a nice little walkabout and see what they're up to. Connect to individual beings' consciousness, interrogate them, and get an honest answer. Also, I found that certain weapons are incredibly useful. This has happened in the past, let's say, 2, 3 years now, where conscious beings join a healer and they take the form of a weapon, a sword
ah,
or a spear. And this is now going in parallel with many legends that very evolved beings had these magical, incredible weapons that amplified their ability.
mm.
One of these came to me stuck in a client, and the massive spear sticking out the lady's solar plexus, and she is a powerful healer in her own right. In fact, she's one of the people that I trust with my own healing. But I say, hey, by the way, there's a massive spear sticking out of your solar plexus. Pulled this thing out and then just forgot what I was doing because this thing was so incredibly beautiful. Solid metal with Celtic patterns swirling around it, moving, and it introduced itself. Um, and I learned its name. Apparently, it appears when it is needed, and it never misses. So that's one
Good,
of the
good weapon. Good weapon.
very good
Yeah.
weapon. And apparently, I had created it many, many lifetimes ago, in an aspect that was from Asgard, dealing with the North European people. I had created this, and I got poisoned or something, and somebody stole my weapon. So it went all around and came back to me at the end. So delightful.
That's excellent. I have because I've got the angelic part of me. I've got a God's sword in my heart chakra, and I've seen it grow out of my hand, and it's like a lightsaber. That's all I can think. I think the Star Wars is a lot of real. It's the Orion Wars, isn't it? And it I remember once I used it on an Archon. It shapeshifted into the god of the war sea.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I knew by the energy. I thought, no, you're not. Decided to go for it. But these beings, they shapeshift into all sorts of wonderful angels and whatever, and it's just
What?
the energy. The energy you've got to know. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, you
Correct.
don't get fooled.
You gotta sniff them out. You gotta have a
I
nose for it.
remember once negotiating with a guardian dragon who was overpowering on a live event, and it went for me and it scratched me, and then went off. And I actually photographed the scratches, and there was three little light marks. The next day, they were deep as ever. There was five of them in two lots,
Wow.
and I actually date stamped it the next day. So
Why the aggression? Why did the dragon think that you
uh,
were?
I was telling him to let the being live as a being. It's not your
Oh,
job to actually. He didn't like being told.
ah,
He had a like an ego part.
understood.
What
Yeah.
you've got to be careful in Astra and stuff like that when you the brain creates the memory and you get the injury. I've killed a multi-dimensional demon and I've had two sprained ankles. I woke up to two sprained ankles, and my kids were saying, "You only went to bed."
Yes. They have no idea you've been on a adventure. Wow.
Yeah,
This is a
excellent.
very interesting world and a very interesting time we are living in. And
Mm,
I'm so grateful that this realm of spirit is revealed to me. I wouldn't have it
mm,
any other way. I
I
really
wouldn't.
wouldn't change this for being the richest person on earth,
Mm,
because that is mundane. How much
mm,
money do you really need compared to the excitement of traveling through the ex cosmos?
mm,
You can't buy that with money.
mm. That's,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. The experience is, it's like a TV, isn't it? It's like an adventure, a film, but you're a part of it, and it's all real. Uh,
Yes. Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
definitely.
absolutely.
As a child, I used to get attacked with demons for about
Mhm.
5 years, and I ended up putting an alarm in the back of my head. So when I was asleep, it used to go off if there's a being in the vicinity. And in the end, I used to kill him. And I've only been told about 5 years ago by the angels that they weren't real, but they were sending them to train me up to see if I had fear. And I got no fear. And I said, I was a child. I said, yeah, but you needed to be taught. We needed to see if you could do the job. And you could.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
yeah,
Yeah, special forces training.
no,
There's no soft and easy way to do this.
no, definitely
Has to
not.
be tough.
Mm.
So we're coming up to the top of the hour. I would
Yeah,
love to make this a routine thing. Uh,
sounds good. Yeah, I'd love it.
Chatting about these adventures, hopefully in what we share, people will be able to pick up useful stuff and
I,
benefit from it. Uh,
what one thing you've taught me. I've got a protector dragon, and I've got the emerald dragons here because they've only just come in the last few years. When you do dragon's breath, and all you
ah,
do, this is how I do it now. I channel into the dragons, and the breath is dragon's breath, and
correct.
it's amazing power.
Very,
And
very powerful.
and that's you gave me the inkling to do that. Yeah,
It is my
so that was
honor,
good.
and maybe we support each other continually.
Yeah,
You know, this is one of those things.
I once did an event with dragons, and I ended up doing a crack in my living room, and dragon energy came out, and I'd only just wallpapered it. But I'll show you the photograph of that.
Oh,
So
that's amazing. That is
dragons are very
absolutely.
powerful. Dragons are powerful. Yeah.
We've got all sorts of these guys. They're the archetypical reptilian form of life. When they're less evolved, we've got things like the Draco. Then we've got those that take the evolved form, but they're still in anger or sadness or madness, like the one that scratched you.
Mm,
And then we've got the really evolved ones that are the closest beings to the source of all things. And they are beautiful as allies and teachers. So the dragon's
but
breath, and in
yeah,
fact, the
the dragons were the first beings, the first big beings. I've
yes,
shown
yes,
it,
yes,
been showing you.
yeah. And
Yeah.
the dragon Reiki, which now I use in the healing, it's basically drawing from the energy of the void, which
All
as
right.
far as I know is free from corruption. Even primordial light is corrupted. It seems that where free will exists, there's always a possibility of choosing wrong.
Mm,
Like the story of the fallen angels, born in grace and given great favor, through acts of degeneration, they lose rank, but not their power.
mm.
So, yes, oh man, there's so much to talk about.
My aspect was on the bad side of the fallen angel, but he changed sides at the end when the fight was going on. So I knew my soul nearly bit was really bad.
You're special agent,
Yeah.
undercover agent. I like your style, man.
Well, they were going to kill they were going to kill Enya. Is it Enya? And I had affection for her, and I actually changed sides. My aspect was supposed to be second to to the top,
Yeah.
and he actually was part of the reason they threw him out. But I remember working with him on Mars, terraforming Mars, and the wings of this other angel was the one that got all the water. As she flapped, all the water came out, and she soaked me in this other angel. I remember that. That's like it was yesterday. Isn't it amazing that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you. It's been a
It's
really privilege.
man,
Thank you.
it's really enjoyable. I'm feeling enhanced and full of joy,
Mm.
and it seems the cold is gone, so I wouldn't be needing my super schnazzy cup soups. And
I was asked by someone in South America, their mum in South England was on end of life support system. Can you give her a blessing? he phoned me back half an hour. He says, I don't know what you've done because the machine broke. If she woke out of the coma and she doesn't need the medicine she was on.
Oh, and bless her.
Yeah,
Next, a free lease on a new lease on life.
yeah,
And so
exactly.
may she use it wisely and serve the
Mm,
highest good of all and ascend and grow.
mm, exactly. I know we've met before quite a few times.
Oh
I know
yeah,
that. I
man,
can
come on.
feel it.
How many of us are there in
Not
this
many.
level? I mean, come on. How many people see a dark portal and go head first? That's kind of a unique thing. You
Yeah.
got to be a certain type of crazy or a certain type of confident to say,
Mm,
"Ooh, portal," and jump in. Not foot first, head first.
mm,
So, yes, yes, yes. I take this as a very positive sign that big things and beautiful things are coming within our current incarnation. So
yeah.
by the time these vessels expire and do their job, I think we would have left our mark in the most positive way. And this is true for many of the people who are going to be listening to this, that this is an amazing time to be living. We've got the chance to undo and erase historical mistakes and prevent
Mm,
them from happening again and change the trajectory of what happens to the human race. And
mm,
so may we be victorious.
exactly. That's why we're here. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm free the same kind of time of the week. If you want to do it a little later, it's still good. I mean, we both live in the United Kingdom, so there isn't the crazy time difference. Uh,
Yeah.
I I most certainly enjoy your company and your wise counsel. Let's do this more frequently.
Mm. Well, I've took tips off you, so it's great, and I'd probably get more.
That's what my
I like
people.
your art chakra as a green emerald, and it grows. I love that. That is so. That's unique. It's unique. Yeah. So
And and and,
there's lots
and
more information, and if we can wake one person,
yes,
we lift the Earth's energy. Just one person.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And also, if you would be so kind, please add the revocation for the Reiki symbols, because I know so many people are out there, and there's a genuine concern, and that is
Mm,
toxin, that is poison. When the certainty goes out of a practice, the effectiveness goes down,
mm.
and it really.
Did you listen? Did you listen to that frequency weapon? That's 80 comments, I think, on that. And there was the best was a farm who had demons for 10 years, and he said he just saw them lift and go.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's it's one of your unique gifts,
Mm.
using sound in that way, and
Mm.
it's advanced.
That's what we used to do
Yeah,
centuries ago.
yeah,
So, and yeah, I'll put this on my YouTube, and I'll put links to your YouTube, I suppose.
absolutely, absolutely.
I think you're great. You've done well. Thanks for doing Sophie as well.
It's an
Yeah, she was
honor.
great.
It's an
Yeah.
absolute honor, and I'm at your service, my dear and esteemed friend.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so have a great evening. Take care of yourself. To be
And you.
continued. All the best to you. Take care.
Bye then. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Good evening. Bye.